Welcome to the next tutorial on electric power system. We are going to discuss the problems on unsymmetrical faults. So let us quickly revise the important concepts that we will be using in this tutorial. So this is basically line to ground fault, this is line to line fault, and this is double line to ground fault. So generally these three type of faults we are going to discuss in case of unsymmetrical faults. So here we see that the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence components are connected with respect to the fault impedance, that is 3 times the fault impedance, and all the sequence component of the fault, zero sequence, positive sequence and negative sequence, are equal because the circuits are connected in series. Now here in line to line fault, the fault impedance is connected in parallel with the positive sequence and negative sequence. There is no zero sequence component because the ground is not involved in this fault. Now here in line double line to ground fault, we have positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence all connected in parallel with respect to ground, and there is a fault impedance here which is equal to 3 times ZF. So we have to remember these three diagrams or circuit in order to solve the problems on unsymmetrical faults. So let us see the problem number 1. Problem number 1 suggests that if you have a 25 MVA 13.2 kV alternator with solidly grounded neutral, has a subtransient reactance of 0.25 per unit. The negative and zero sequence reactances are given to be 0.35 and 0.1 per unit. A single line to ground fault occur at the terminals of an unloaded alternator. Neglecting resistance determine the fault current and line to line voltage. So in the problem number 1, we are going to discuss a fault of line to ground fault. So when you have a single line to ground fault, how do we solve the problem? So for this particular problem, let us see. So first we'll consider the pre-fault voltage, similarly what we have considered earlier also. So it is 1 per unit, and that is equal to line to neutral voltage at the fault point. Now for an LG fault, there will be a fault impedance ZF. So ZF fault impedance is the sum of the impedance 0.25, 0.35 and 0.1 that is being given in the problem. So in the problem it is given that the subtransient reactance, that is the positive sequence 0.25, 0.35 and 0.1 are the negative and zero sequence reactance. So add up all these three to get the fault impedance ZF, which is equal to J 0.7. Then this is the circuit for line to ground fault. We have seen that all the sequence component of the current, zero sequence, positive sequence and negative sequence component will be equal. Then in that case we will first calculate what is the value of the positive sequence component of the current. So positive sequence component of the current is equal to the total voltage or the pre-fault voltage EA divided by the sum of the reactances or the impedances involved, that is the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence, because this is the total Z equivalent of the series circuit. So we have seen that the pre-fault voltage we are taking as 1 per unit, and the total reactance impedance we have calculated as J 0.7. So substituting that, we get a value of minus J 1.428. Now these all data are in per unit. So here we see that the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence component will have a magnitude of 1.428. Now for an LG fault, the sequence component of the current are equal, and it is equal to minus J times 1428, and the per unit fault current, if you want to find out, then the fault current of a particular phase IA is the sum of all the sequence component of that particular phase. It is equal to 3 times IA1 because the sequence components are equal. So we'll get a value of minus J 4.285. Now let us choose the base of 25 MVA and 13.2 kV because we have to find out the base current. So the base current is basically the power divided by root 3 times the voltage. So I'll get a 1093 ampere. Now the actual fault current will be equal to the base current 1093 multiplied by the per unit amount of the current 4.285. So we'll get a actual fault current as 4685 ampere. Now we have to find out the voltage. So first compute the sequence component of the voltage. So voltage at voltage of phase A of the positive sequence, we can see from the diagram, it is equal to the pre-fault voltage minus the drop in the positive sequence reactance. So positive sequence reactance is given to be J0.25 and the positive sequence component of the current is 1.428 with a negative sign. So we'll get a voltage VA1 as 0.643. Then we can compute VA2 equal to minus of IA2 Z2, which we can look from the circuit also, and we can obtain the value. VA0 is basically minus of IA0 into Z0. Substitute the appropriate values and find out the values of VA0. We know that the sum of the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence component of the voltage is equal to the voltage of the phase A, and it has to be zero because there is a short circuit. Which is as a numeric check we have done. And similarly, we have to find what is VB and what is VC. So VB and VC are the other phase voltages which can be obtained by the sum of the zero sequence, positive sequence and negative sequence for its particular phase, for the VB phase as well as the VC phase. So let us obtain for the phase B. So we have obtained the value of VA1. So just resolving it with respect to the symmetrical component lambda square, will get a value of VB1. Similarly, lambda multiplied by VA2 will get a value of VB2. So having proper knowledge of the symmetrical component, we can obtain the positive sequence and negative sequence component of the other phase VB, and we know that the zero sequence component will be equal to each other, which is same. So we have obtained for the phase B. Now let us obtain for the phase C. So phase C voltage with respect to the phase A voltage for the positive sequence and negative sequence we are obtaining, and we have already obtained the voltage of the zero phase or the zero sequence. In this way we can obtain VC1 and VC2. Now similarly, by adding all the sequence component of the voltage, we can obtain VB and VC by adding up VB1, VB2 and VB0, and here VC1 plus VC2 plus VC0. So we can get the other phase voltage. So we have already got the phase voltage of A phase is equal to 0 and the voltage of phase B and voltage of phase C. Now the line to line voltage is basically we can obtain as VAB is equal to VA minus VB because the VA value is equal to 0. So we have computed VA and VB, just take the subtraction of that, so we can obtain what is the voltage VAB. Similarly, we can obtain the voltage VAC and voltage VBC. Now we know that the voltage VAB is basically this quantity which has to be converted into the magnitude. So take the square of under root A square plus B square, there is a real square plus imaginary square, will get a value of 1.0127 per unit. Now the actual line to line voltage, if you want to get it, so the per unit values of 1.0127 has to be multiplied with the base value. So base value is 13.2 divided by root 3. So we'll get the actual value. So per unit value into base value will give you the actual value of VAB, which is equal to 7.717 kilovolt. Now VAC we have already obtained it is 7.17 kilovolt, and VBC we can obtain from the per unit system of the BBC. So here BBC we have seen that is 1.9796. So it is multiplied with the base values. So we have got the line to line voltage of all the phases and the fault current for single line to ground fault. Next problem is basically determine the fault current and line to line voltage at the fault when line to line fault occur at the terminals of the alternators, similarly to describe in the previous question. So the same question we are going to solve for when there is a line to line fault. So earlier we have solved for line to ground fault, now we'll solve for line to line fault. So this is the circuit diagram for line to line fault, and we have to calculate the value of IA1. So IA1 is basically the pre-fault voltage EA divided by the sum of the impedance Z1 plus Z2, because both are in series, and we can obtain a value of the positive sequence component of the phase A. Now we can look from the circuit that IA1 is basically minus of IA2. So IA2 we can obtain and IA0 is 0 because there is no involvement of the ground. So these are the fault current that we have obtained in terms of the sequence component. So the fault current of other phase IB is equal to minus of IC, and IB is the sum of the three sequence component of the current, whereas the zero sequence component will be 0 because there is no involvement of the ground. And we can resolve the B1 and B2 with respect to A1 and A2 as lambda square IA1 plus lambda IA2. And then after substituting accurate values of the parameters, we can get the in terms of per unit what is the value of IB, and IC is basically minus of IB. So IB base current we are getting 1093 ampere. So multiply the 1093 ampere with the per unit system per unit value, so we get the actual value of the fault current. Now we have to calculate the line to line voltage. For that, first calculate the sequence component of the voltage VA1, VA2. Then we'll see that VA1 is equal to EA minus IA1 Z1. EA is the pre-fault voltage and IA1 is the positive sequence component of the current multiplied with the positive sequence component of the impedance. So we'll get 0.5833. So VA2 is equal to minus of IA2 into Z2. So we'll get a value of 0.5834. This suggests that VA1 is equal to VA2, which is correct because both the circuit are connected in parallel. Now we can obtain the value of the voltage VA, which is the sum of the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence, and here the zero sequence is not involved, so the sum of positive and negative sequence we add up. Once we get VA, we can resolve to get VB and VC. VB equal to VC, so VB is equal to lambda square VA1 plus lambda times VA2. So by the use of symmetrical component, once we obtain for one of the phases VA, other phase VB and VC, we can easily obtain the value of the voltage. So line to line voltage we obtain as the difference of VA minus VB, VA minus VC and VB minus VC to obtain VAB, VSC and VC value, VBC value, and then convert it in the actual quantity by multiplying with the base quantity with the per unit quantity. So that will give you the actual line to line voltage of the system. So the problem third, here we are going to solve the same problem for a double line to ground fault. So let us see. We have seen the circuit for the double line to ground fault. We have seen that positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence components are connected in parallel. So we can obtain the value of the current IA1. So the pre-fault voltage EA divided by the total impedance which is seen to the source. So it is equal to Z1 plus Z0 Z2 divided by Z0 plus Z2. So we have Z0 is parallel with Z2 and this is plus with Z1. So that will give you the total equivalent impedance of the circuit. And then the current, that is the input current, is basically the pre-fault voltage divided by the total equivalent impedance. So that is what we are calculating here, IA1. So after substituting the values, we will be getting a magnitude of minus J 3.05 per unit. So the double line to ground fault, we can see that the positive sequence, negative sequence and zero sequence component will be equal, and positive sequence component is equal to EA minus IA1 Z1. So we can find out the value of IA2 and IA0. We have to first find out what is the value of VA1. Then we can compute the value of other phase sequence. VA2 is equal to minus of IA2 into Z2, where IA2 can be obtained, and VA1 is equal to VA0. So in this way we can obtain it. Now let us find out the value of VA1, and VA2 is equal to VA0. So VA1 is equal to EA minus of IA into Z1. So that will give you a value of 0.2374. VA2 is equal to VA0, that is the negative sequence and zero sequence component are equal, and that is equal to the positive sequence component. So that we can see even in terms of the formulas. So we can obtain now IA2 and IA0. So IA2 is equal to minus of VA2 by Z2 and IA0 is equal to minus of VA0 by Z0. So this will give you the values 0.678 and 2.374 as the negative sequence component and zero sequence component for the phase A. And then we can see that the sum of negative sequence and zero sequence component is equal to the negative of the positive sequence component. Also, the fault current is basically the sum of IB plus IC is equal to 3 times the fault current of the zero sequence. So 3 times we can find, we have already find out the zero sequence component. Substitute here, we will get a value of 7.122. Now the base current is 1093. So multiply the base current with the per unit current that we have obtained. So we'll get the actual value as 7784.3 amperes. Now the phase voltage VA we can obtain as the sum of VA1, VA2 and VA0 or 3 times the positive sequence component of the voltage. We'll get 0.7122 and the other phase VB and VC are equal to 0. Then we can obtain the line to line fault voltage for the phase VAB, VAC and VBC. So VAB we can obtain as VA. So this is the we have obtained the per unit values multiplied by the base value in terms of the line values. So we'll get 5.42 kV. Similarly, we can obtain for VAC and for VBC. So in this way, we have obtained the fault of unsymmetrical fault line to ground, line to line and double line to ground for all the three cases for the same problem. So any type of unsymmetrical fault can be solved provided the knowledge of the circuit is there, and then we can solve it. Thank you for now.